New videos every day.
By now you've probably seen the ad on high fructose corn syrup. In fact, I've talked about high fructose corn syrup before, and I actually got a little response from the corn industry, and I just wanted to share some things. First of all, I want to address that ad. I think it's misleading, so I'm just going to say that. But in the ad they say that high fructose corn syrup is made from corn. That's true. But there is a lot of things that are made from some natural substance, but once they're refined, they're not good for us. High fructose corn syrup is refined from corn. It's not a natural substance. It doesn't occur in nature. You're not going to find it anywhere until you run it through a lab. Okay? So even though it's made from corn, that's true, it doesn't necessarily mean it's good for you. All right? Now, it doesn't have any artificial ingredients. You know, I don't think that's a true statement because it is itself an artificial ingredient. Sucrose, table sugar, is an artificial ingredient. There is no place to find sucrose in nature. It's refined from beets or sugar cane, but it's not a natural substance. It's probably safer than a lot of the chemical things that are completely manufactured, but it still has a manufacturing and a refining process. You want to eat foods that are closer to their origin. You want to eat the real food. Fruits and corn with the natural fructose in them, they're fine. But if we're going to refine it and put it into all these different foods, then we're going to have a problem. It is not a natural substance. It is manufactured. Now, in the commercial, they say it's fine in moderation. Well, what does that mean? I have an article here from Science Daily, and, we're finding in research that our highest caloric intake in this country, in America, is high fructose corn syrup. It's outrageous how much we're taking in. Do you know how much sugar you can take in a drink? Sodas are our highest caloric intake. People are drinking so much soda. Do you know how much sweetener's in those things? So most of the sweetener used now is high fructose corn syrup, meaning we're taking in an enormous amount, and it is causing problems. There are studies out there showing that the high fructose corn syrup, the concentrated fructose, is going to cause diabetes much quicker. It causes dementia. There are studies demonstrating this. So there are some dangers to a high amount of high fructose corn syrup. That's why I have to say in moderation. Don't even define moderation. Sure, you can have a little bit of arsenic and be alive. There might even be some benefit to just a trace amount, but a bit of any more will kill you. You've got to be careful with the high fructose corn syrup. You've got to be careful with the refined foods. You're going to be healthiest with foods close to their origin, real food. Give me a break. And then they try to compare it to honey and other natural sweeteners. It's not a natural sweetener. Honey does have fructose in it, but it's a naturally occurring sugar. It is, I guess we could say the bees refine it. Or maple or agave. We still have to be careful even those. They're sugar, but at least they're a little closer to the origin. The best sugar for you, naturally occurring sugars in fruits and vegetables. And mostly the vegetables. So don't let this commercial sway you. It's not that high fructose corn syrup is safe. It's just that we're using it. There's a lot of things that people eat that I don't think are safe. Do you read your labels? Do you know how many chemicals you're eating? This is another chemical. Okay, the American Medical Association now says that high fructose corn syrup is safe. What does that mean? Several of the studies that they've been involved in say it's not. If you read the studies, if you really go to PubMed, there's a lot of places you can go. You can look up studies, and there are more negative studies than positive studies. So we've got to consider that. AMA is probably not the best thing to consider for approval. They approve some things that maybe aren't that healthy. I don't know what the money is either. So be careful in just buying something because it's got that stamp of approval. They say research confirms that high fructose corn syrup is just as safe as sugar. Well, yeah. What we call sugar is not a safe thing to eat either. I mean, I don't want to fight with the people who make table sugar, but it's not the safest substance on the planet. You can have a lot of problems from either table sugar or from high fructose corn syrup. They're concentrated. They're not natural. You have to be careful when you concentrate anything. The body's not ready for it. It's going to overwhelm the body in many cases. So I'm not saying that it's poisonous if you have a little bit of high fructose corn syrup, but consider how much you're really taking in. And there are better choices for a sweetener. The best choice If you want to make a drink, I'll give you an example. Take some water, cut up some fruit, put it in the water, and then just drink the water. It'll have a bit of a sweet taste, and you won't have put any processed sugars in there. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration, they've said high fructose corn syrup is generally regarded as safe. It's one of their little labels that they put on things. There's a lot of things that are not real good for you that are generally regarded as safe. And just because the FDA says that it's generally safe doesn't mean that that's the end all and be all. You have to really look at the studies, and you have to consider what these sugars do to you. We've got a lot of diabetics, we've got a lot of obesity, and these are the cause. So I don't want to get into the FDA right now, but they don't always have our best interest. Again, I don't know where the ties go, but high fructose corn syrup is not the safest thing out there. And then they want to say that high fructose corn syrup offers us all these benefits. You know, it's readily available. We can use it as a sweetener. It helps enhance the taste of food. What about eating real food? Why do you need all this excess of sweetness and different types of excitotoxins, let's call them? It doesn't have to be extremely hot or extremely sweet. In fact, naturally, you should have an aversion to something that's overwhelming. Again, I want you to eat real food. That's going to be the healthiest thing for you. It's not going to hurt you to have a small amount of high fructose corn syrup occasionally. But the majority of the Americans are having a great deal of high fructose corn syrup every day. It is the major source of calories for many people in this country. So do take a look at it. Do be careful with your use of it. And don't be swayed by advertising paid for by the manufacturer. This is Dr. Vince Belanzi. As always, live healthy.
There are over 350 videos on our channel, and I doubt you've seen them all. And the topics range from weight loss, nutrition, sexual health, all the way to psychology and mind control, and anywhere in between. And I think if you check them out, you're going to find some really interesting stuff.